Sarah is a single mother whose son suffers from leukemia. After the untimely death of her husband, she is left to care for and support their only son. Sarah decides to get a job with good pay in order to raise funds for her son's treatment. Thankfully, the construction company where her friend works has an opening for an architect. But there is a catch. Her friend warns her that her boss has a strict preference for hiring single women without children. The boss believes that married women with children cannot focus on their job because their attention is split between career and family. The job offers good pay, and Sarah doesn't want to miss the opportunity. On the day of her interview, Zain, the boss, walks in and is instantly drawn to her, though he keeps his composure and proceeds with the formalities. Sarah, on the other hand, is nervous but hopeful that she will land the job. As expected, Zain asks if she is married or has children, and in desperate need of the position, she lies and gives him the answer he wants, much to his delight. He warns her of the demands of the job, and she vows to give everything she has to meet them. Impressed by her resume and work experience, he hires her for the job. When Sarah's son fell ill again, the doctor advises a stem cell transplant in hopes of curing the child's illness. But she is stunned by the amount of money needed for her son's treatment. She tries to get a loan from the bank, but it's just not enough. So she turns to her wealthy father-in-law for financial help, but he rejects her outright. Her husband's family never approved of their marriage, and to make matters worse, she is blamed for her late husband's tragic car accident. And then, she tries her luck with Zain and asks him if she can get an advance on her salary, enough to cover the money she needs. She promises to keep working until she has earned every penny of that pay. But Zain is taken aback by her request, as she has only been recently hired. He wonders why she needs such a large sum of money. And she has to work for a lot of years to repay the money back. Sarah, however, remains tight-lipped about her son's condition, knowing she had lied about having no children in the first place. Ever since meeting her, Zain has been captivated by her presence. Yet in his mind, he has always believed that beautiful women have one thing in common. They all want money, and he suspects Sarah might be the same. Given the circumstance, he takes his chances and makes an indecent proposal. He offers her a large sum of money on the condition that she sleeps with him for a night. Sarah is utterly stunned by his offer and rejects him immediately. She never imagined receiving such a proposition from her own boss. But it's a take-it-or-leave-it deal. Sarah storms out of his office in disgust. Not long after, Sarah receives a call from the hospital that her son's condition is getting worse by the day. She remembers how the doctor urged her to proceed with the treatment immediately, warning that waiting any longer could cost her son his life. Sarah is torn, but she is left with no other choice. Out of sheer desperation, she goes back to Zain's office and reconsiders his indecent offer. The two agreed on the price: $250,000, just enough to cover the life-saving treatment her son desperately needs. And then the night comes. Sarah gathers every ounce of courage she has. Zain waits for her at the hotel they agreed. And then Sarah shows up before him. Before getting into it, Zain shows her the bag of money, which she can freely take after. And then, The two spend the night together as agreed. The next day, Sarah quickly puts her clothes back on, takes the money, and leaves without hesitation. Zayn watches her from the window of his room, feeling disappointed. He thought she was different, yet in the end, she gave in for money. What he doesn't know is that Sarah is consumed with disgust over what happened. She breaks down in tears, haunted by the thought of selling herself to a man. Nevertheless, Sarah wastes no time and gets her son the treatment he needs. Meanwhile, Sarah keeps her relationship with Zayn strictly professional. Torn between his disappointment in her, his attraction to her, and his pride as her boss, Zayn begins to treat her harshly at work. He burdens her with pressure and heavy demands, almost as if testing her limits. The constant strain pushes Sarah to the point where she begins to consider resigning. The tension between them grows worse when Zayn begins to suspect that Sarah might be in a relationship. His jealousy drives him to push her harder, pressuring her even more with work. During a business trip to Dubai, Zayn once again offers Sarah a large sum of money to spend a night with him, catching her off guard. She says nothing, but then storms off and leaves him alone. Her refusal shakes Zayn, leaving him unsettled and confused. He cannot understand why she would turn him down now, when she had agreed once before. One day, Zayn, his business partner, and his family join a charity visit at the very hospital where Sarah's son is admitted. As the doctor shows them around, he shares the story of a sick boy battling leukemia who needed an extremely costly treatment. He tells them how the boy's mother never gave up and miraculously found a way to raise the funds to save her son. While the doctor speaks, Sarah is in the playroom having fun with the children. With pride, the doctor points at her and reveals that she is the mother of the child. Zayn glances at her through the glass windows. She catches his attention as she seems familiar to him even with her back against him. He then takes a closer look. When she turns around with a gentle smile, Zayn is struck with disbelief. A rush of emotions overwhelms him. Shock at her deception, guilt for misjudging her, and an unfamiliar ache of admiration for her strength. Sarah sees him too. Their eyes meet. And in that moment, her secret can no longer be hidden. Such revelation dismisses Zayn's doubts about the kind of woman Sarah truly is. But now he is left with a greater challenge. How to make amends for his mistakes and convince her to stay with the company. Sarah, after everything, has decided to resign, determined to free herself from the weight of her secret and the pain of his treatment. Yet Zayn finds himself battling with his growing feelings for her. Winning her heart proves far more difficult, for Sarah sees him only in a bad light. She, too, is doubtful of his true intentions, haunted by the memory of their one night together. How can she possibly open her heart to a man who once tried to buy her with money? This is a story of a mother's sacrifice, a man's redemption, and the love that struggles to bloom between them.